What is the difference between a Rolex GMT-Master and a GMT-Master II? Coming up. Fresh from the showcase at SwissWatchExpo, I'm Michael, and we get a lot of questions about the GMT-Master versus the GMT-Master II. So we wanted to kind of highlight the differences for you, show you both watches. When you look at them initially, they look essentially the same. There's not a whole lot of difference visually between them. The reference numbers are 16700 on the GMT-Master and 16710 on the GMT-Master II. And of course, after that, there were other reference numbers as the Serichrome bezel and other improvements came out. But these are the two that we're really looking at primarily from the 80s. The GMT-Master, I'm sure you know by now, was launched in 1955 as a commissioned piece for Pan Am Airlines when Pan Am really was the unofficial flag carrier for the United States. The first true worldwide airline. They really embodied that idea of sort of the jet set and the world travelers and adventure. And they wanted a way that their pilots and their personnel in various places could synchronize their time. So they wanted a watch that they could issue that would show two time zones at the same time. Hence the GMT-Master came out. GMT stands for Greenwich Mean Time. It is the time zone that runs through London. And that's the one that they indexed everything to. So if you were doing an incident report and you said that something happened at 2 a.m., the question is 2 a.m. where? So that way they could have a watch that would show not only the local time where they are, but also reflect the GMT time at all times. So that's what the point of the watch really was. The original version was what we now call the Pepsi bezel, the blue and red bezel. And the way this one worked, the original formula was that when you unscrew the crown, the first position, just like any other Rolex watch with a screw down crown, the first position is to manually wind the watch. So a lot of people get hung up on this. They might just sort of give the watch a shake and think that that's enough to wind it. It's really not. If you look on the Rolex website, every major watch manufacturer recommends this. The first thing you do when you pick up a automatic watch that has not been worn for a few days and it's stopped is you're going to wind it. You're going to unscrew the crown to that winding position and you're going to manually wind it about 40 turns to give it a full power reserve. So on the GMT-Master, what you have here is 2 hour hands. The red one goes around once every 24 hours and the regular one goes around once every 12 hours. So on the regular hand, you're reading the time just like you normally would. So this is about 5 minutes after 9. On the 24-hour hand, you can see what lined up on the bezel, the 9 is here where it's pointing. So that's also showing about 5 minutes after 9. Now the two are always together. They're always in lockstep. There's no way to independently adjust them on the GMT-Master. One function that you do have on the GMT-Master is that it has a quick set date, which the GMT-Master II does not have. So when you pull the crown out, you've got it in the first position for winding. The second position actually runs you through the dates, and then the third position changes the time. And as I turn the time, you can see that the red hand and the regular hour hand both move together. So you would set the time one time, and then once you've done that, you would screw the crown back down and move the bezel to read another time zone. So it's a bidirectional turning bezel. These early bezels were a painted aluminum bezel insert. And so you'll see some are more faded than others, some are more scratched than others, but people love seeing that vintagey look to it. But this is the way you read the second time zone, is that you would move it. So the way it is right now, it's reading 1700 hours. So that's going to be 5 p.m. But we could move it to read another time zone. And it's a little bit difficult to move, and that's by design, so that when you move it, you're going to have a reference there that you can use almost a time computer so that you can read the second time zone and you're not really going to knock it and have it suddenly start showing something different than what you intended it to show. So that was the original version. Starting in 1983, we had the GMT-Master II, and they made some improvements on it. But the biggest thing was they took away that quick set on the date, and they added an independently adjustable hour hand. Now, just as far as practical daily wear, this one, it has the sapphire crystal. It has a very nice, modern machined bracelet. It's water resistant to 100 meters. So there's a lot of things there that are going to help you out on just a day-to-day, whether you're traveling that day or not. But for the first position, again, is the wind position. So you're going to turn it about 40 turns. When you pull the crown out to the first position, you're independently adjusting the white hour hand. So you can see the red one stays still. And as I move this one around, you'll notice the second hand keeps going. It doesn't engage the hacking mechanism. So it doesn't mess up the minutes as you're traveling. And this is also how you adjust the date. It's real quick to run through several days and get the date to where you want it. But the main idea is that you would set the red hour hand to some sort of reference time. Maybe it's GMT time for you. Maybe that's your home time as you're traveling. Maybe that's where your kid is in Japan and you want to know what time it is all the time there. But whatever you set the reference time to, then you'll independently move this one as you travel. You can jump time zones, and that way the main clock would always reflect the time wherever you are versus the reference time. So it comes down, as far as a choice of which one you want, to style and function. The GMT-Master does have a little bit more of that vintage flair to it. The GMT-Master II has some additional functionality, but it really is more how you're going to use the watch and what your personal taste and style are. It would be difficult for me to choose which one I like better. People ask sometimes, which one's better. They do tend to make Rolex watches better and better, not worse and worse. So the later models do tend to have more functions and more of the things that people are looking for on a modern watch. But the GMT-Master 1, there's just no substitute for it.